Well, hello and welcome. I'm Sue Britz,
And I'm Tina Lokkbakk. Welcome to Retired.
the podcast where we talk about what life is like when we put on new tread, new wheels that move us to our next adventure. And today, I always something this. And today,
Sue, say it.
Okay, so we're talking about life lessons, and when we discussed this, you and I had a different take on it. You're kind of doing the global life lessons of where we are right now as retired teachers. Mine was more of like, what are the life lessons of living the last decade in the T-Rump era? So, yeah. So what?
And this is what I love about us, though, is that we're so similar and so totally different. Like our thoughts are very similar, but they're so totally different at the same time.
Yes, very good.
It's fun.
It is fun. Do you want to start, Tina?
Okay, I'll start. Twist my arm.
Okay.
And you know what? Young people don't know what that means anymore. The last few years of teaching, I had to actually explain it because I would get these blank stares, like, just twist my arm, and they'd look at me.
They don't know idioms?
No.
That is so
Not
weird.
that one.
Well, I have to. Okay, we're off topic already. One of my favorite things that I did in the last 2 decades of my teaching was doing Dress Like an Idiom Day. We would study idioms for about 6 weeks and do projects so kids could learn the figurative language of idioms. And it's also one of the it struck me because when you're learning another language, the idioms are the hardest ones, and we appreciate that as when we start talking about it, kids in the class would go, "Oh my gosh, that makes no sense," and really getting into someone else's shoes and understanding that their point of view, they'd go, "What the heck are you people talking about? How English is a difficult language," and so it valued the people who are learning English. They're like, yeah, this doesn't make sense. And for kids to really dawn on them to understand that idiomatic language or figurative language can be very difficult. And it's also the highest level of refining your understanding of another language to be able to use that and understand it. So the 6-week unit would wrap up with Dress Like an Idiom Day. And I'd always say, don't dress like an idiot, just dress like an idiom.
Like an idiom?
And so kids would come and they had to have them pre-approved, so not everyone would come with a green thumb, on the day, because that was an easy one to dress.
That's smart. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And so it was always fun every year, and so creative. The costumes are so creative. They'd walk around, and I finally got other classes too at our grade level to do it. And you'd be out on the playground. These kids are out in these costumes, and some are very simple, like a green thumb, and the other kids are all wondering what's going on. And so it was a great. I loved that activity. It was so much fun.
Right away, I already thought of my costume. It would be like, what is it? Something is worth 2 birds in a bush. One bird in the hand is worth 2 in a bush. So I probably would have had like a little fake stuffed bird in one hand, and a bush with 2 birds in it.
So now you would not be allowed. That would not have been approved by me because you have to be able to wear it all day long, and you need your hands to do things. So one of my favorite, a painted green thumb, you can just go around all day, or caught red-handed. You have a red hand.
Oh God!
And that was the other one, just doing all the different colors. But one of my favorites was the kids. They always had those stuffed animal monkeys, like a monkey on my back, and so it'd be hanging. That was a fun one. I mean, just simple things like that were really fun.
Okay, so this is why I love teaching with you, because you bring out this love of fun, and thank you for that. And I even wrote it down, like, what am I going to do? But I put Dress Like an Idiom Day in my journal. Like, why? I'm not going to dress but it's so exciting. I can hardly stand it. Like, thank you. Like, that is why I loved working with you.
I did a party at my house with it. I had idioms all over the walls and stuff, and people had to, it was when you moved away or whatever. I don't know, but
bummer.
Yeah, but people came dressed up in different things. We had to guess what they were. It was.
You're right. I could still throw a party.
So fun. It is so fun. Yeah.
Oh, the last party I threw was for my 40th birthday, and it was disco because I was honest with myself. What music do I love more than anything? I love disco. I like it all. So everyone had to dress up like the 70s. It could be disco or just 70s. And it was freaking hilarious. And I even had friends that did the Dancing Queen. They made up a
Yeah.
dance routine for me and they did it. And then I was called on like to the stage. And it was just so cool. Anyway, I think theme parties are the way to go. And maybe that's what I need to do. Like turn my home into a theme
Yeah, it's
for a
fun.
night. It is.
Themes are fun. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now we need to get back on track here.
Okay.
Another idiom. Um,
Oh God.
no, I'm not God. I'm just your friend.
I know. I
Okay.
still use that too. Um,
All right. So you're starting us off with a life lesson. Is this relevant to now or is this just in general?
well, the problem is, I realized I have a book of about 200 life lessons that are inside of me, little short units. And so, how do I narrow it down? But you helped me narrow it down because I said, Sue, I can't think of just three. I've got 1 million, really. So you said, what feels relevant to me now? So I'm going to put it in that context.
Okay.
So I think the three things that I'm most aware of and making changes to in my life are these top three lessons. First one, and then let's go back and forth. So I'll do one and then you do one. I am learning that each day we wake up with an X amount of energy. Sometimes the tank is full, sometimes the tank is low. And before I start each day, I acknowledge where my gas level is. Do I need to go to the gas station by resting to, oh, look at this, ties into our little retired car thing. Anyway, so do you go to the gas station and fill up, or are you good to go on your journey for the day? And you have to gauge it and then decide what you're going to do with it. So what I mean by this in a different level context is uh, how am I going to plan my day based on energy level? And the next thing that goes within that, I've really learned who gives you energy, who sucks you dry. So I really am thinking judiciously as I have all my energy going into creating this business and the time it takes. So with the time I have remaining, I'm judicious. Who do I choose to spend it with you or to spend it with? And I was just going to say, I enjoy spending my time with you on Mondays. So that was two thoughts in one coming out. But I think that is an important life lesson. Gauge where you are with energy, engage who fills you and or sucks you dry. And you have to maybe eliminate some of those people that you leave worse for, but you seem to keep going back to. And instead go more to the people that fill you and make you smile, like you.
Yeah. Thank you. And right back at you. I
Thanks.
think this is interesting. It ties right to our whole podcast, which is about, being retired. So when something sucks you dry, like a job, it's not as
Yes.
easy just to let it go. But at some point, you need to decide, do I need to retire from it, to leave it? Um, and can I afford to do it? If not, first of all, is there some way to make it work better where you are or change it up? I mean, it could be changing a school, changing a grade level. But if it's not within your ability to do that, or that's not enough to keep you from feeling like you're being sucked dry, then you've got to retire from it and do
Yes.
something different. And there's a lot of truth to that. A lot of people resist change, and so that's hard to do. A lot of people, it's tough. It's not any given to go find another job. I mean, especially the way things are now, it is difficult to do. So, yeah, I hear you on that. I don't relate to the like waking up though and knowing what my energy level is. Um, my wife does that. She wakes up and she knows exactly where her energy is, and she's usually it's her tank is 1,000%, and she's going. So, but for me, it's more. I figure it out as I go, and it may change in the day. I might all of a
I
sudden
love
be
that.
very
Thank you.
energetic, or I might slow down. Um, I think it's also my energy level is very different than when I was working. I mean, when I would wake up, and I relate to that more from a working point of view, wake up and go, oh gosh, I have all these things I got to do. And I just,
Yeah.
zzz, 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 zzz. And other days I'd wake up and go, okay, I've got my routines. I know what I'm doing. It's going to be more even keel day. And that could change throughout depending on what
Yes.
happens. But yeah, I don't really relate to that anymore. Isn't that's interesting?
Yeah, it
I
is
hadn't had a
interesting.
chance to really think about that. So yeah, interesting. Okay. So do
Te
you
toka
wake
a
up,
tea.
okay, but do you
Oh,
wake up more often with lots of energy or not?
it's all insomnia related. And I'm really
Mm.
understanding how sleep is everything. I think sleep for me is more important than exercise, water, and nutrition. Sleep is the thing that I need the most and
Yeah,
somehow
that's true.
spottily have.
Yeah. And so back to the question, is it more often than not that you've got energy or not? So how's it going for you?
Well, I think that when you have something to live for that's outside yourself that you're passionate about, somehow I have energy. I think that that actually is the key to life and energy is finding something outside of yourself that really gets your sparky sparked.
Okay, cool.
Yep. Yep.
All right. So, and I alluded to my life
Yes,
lesson
you
here,
did. So I'm excited to
and
hear
I'm back to
number
this.
one.
I am definitely bringing it into what's going on in my world right now. What am I learning from it? And I am of the belief that people are animals. And
Mm.
I wrote some things down because I wanted to kind of articulate it a little better than just off the top of my head. So I'm gonna
You want
read
to
it.
dive deep.
And I wrote this a few days ago when I was in the midst
Oh,
of some like angry thing that I needed to respond to, and so I wrote it down. So here, let me just read it. It'll be interesting to see what I wrote.
please.
Perhaps out of naivete or religious training that operates under the binary of good and evil, or the cultural upbringing of romanticizing, I always believe that people are essentially good at heart. Now I'm more apt to believe that people are animals. They exist on a continually sliding continuum of nurture, kindness, and altruism, and primal, bestial, uncivilized, territorial self centeredness. I think I can embrace this new way of seeing things more because of what's going on in the T rump area. I'm pushed to that belief. Science helps to back that up. We're not learning the lessons of learning from the past. Instead, 34 and his followers seem to be using history to play their sick game with proven horrifying results. Fight or flight becomes imparting real harm to each other or abandoning each other and ourselves. Is this the Earth just trying to get rid of the species? It seems like it. So lots of thought
I know, I
around
know.
people are animals.
I'm coming in from like that's how my brain works. So I have about five things to say all at the same time. So first thing that pops into my mind, I almost sent it to you, was a podcast with Seth Godin and his friend Chris, and it was current, and he's a major author, publisher, entrepreneur, and he decided to give things hope. It was very hopeful. And his thought is that there are young people, again, that do have different ways of looking at life than we do, and they will course correct for us. He had just great hope in our next generation of thinkers, and it was very hopeful. Um, yeah.
All right, so I'm back to that. I used to believe a lot in hope and being very practical all at the same time, but my cynicism, I think that's more about practicality. I'm thinking hope is, see, we're animals, and I don't know that animals hope a lot. Maybe they do, but I think that our hope has been taught to us, maybe because we're still like being naive children, or our religious training, or because that's a way to control people, is like give them hope rather than let them see reality of just this is human nature, or this thing of romanticizing everything. And I I'm thinking more practically. I hope it doesn't come. I don't feel like it feels cynical to me. It feels more practical and almost gives me a peace when I think it's not that hope is truly like a human thing that we've invented to help us overcome this reality, the truth that people are animals. I mean, there are good animals, there are good parts of it, kindness, altruism, all that, but we're also bestial, primal, and I think that that wins out. I mean, I really do. I think I'm moving more fully to that belief, which is a real big paradigm shift for me.
So I've been both places. And I have like, if we saw the circle of life, I feel like I've just looped back to positivity in spite of all that's happened here. And I think what gave me the change in thinking again is when I had no contact with my eldest child, I just assumed I would be 96 on my deathbed. And maybe if I was lucky, things would resolve. Then all of a sudden, COVID hits. We could have never predicted. And time for reflection, growth, reaching out, the opportunity was there. And that COVID opened up my mind to things can happen, things change. There's always the possibility for something to change, to course correct. It does happen. And it kind of restored my faith in a way, it brought us all together as people. We all suffered the same suffering.
Right,
I
and the
think
need
it,
to survive. People figured it out and figured out a way to survive. So instinct kicked in,
so
and
that's so what you're saying about people being animals, I think that's very true. We are animals, but we have the ability not to not react. We have the ability to pause and respond. And that's what makes us different. And I think as we are seeing such hate and hateful behavior and selfishness, that's just how life is. We are all people on spectrums, and I still believe there are the kindest of kind that really could not kill someone to save their life, literally.
mm-hmm.
And then there are people like Putin who's slaughtering people every day, and he sleeps well and drinks well and eats well. So there is that spectrum. We are animals, but look at animals. My Gigi is not going to bite someone, and yet I was attacked by Maria's dogs. So we all have spectrums. We all, so I disagree. I believe that we are animals and we are spectrums of people. And I still believe that most of us would prefer to be decent people.
So that I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think we prefer to because we've been taught and trained to do that. And lived a whole life where my natural instinct is to be hopeful and positive. I tend to be. I think I'm that. I
Yeah,
that's
I
how I
think you're
live.
on the other end of the spectrum.
And at the same time, I think that's just the way it is. I think that there are. Uh, I don't know. It gives me a peace to know that we are animals. That it's that I don't know because I don't know if it's given it. It is giving me a peace to know that there is this range of human animal behavior, and it's the way it is. Things can shift and move, and to see it shift to so much to the negative doesn't make logical sense. We're supposed to be logical beings and so forth too. Um, it's maybe that evil and stuff coming to power brings out our own instinctual need to stop it.
Protect.
Yeah, to stop that. And I hope that I do hope this is positive words
Ah,
that
ah.
are that we shift back to instinct, which is to survive. And, that we need to survive, and if we don't take care of our earth, take care of each other, we are not going to survive. So I'm trusting on instinct, and that gives me some peace. Anywho,
Kind of within that, but not question. Have you always believed that life is fair? Was there a time where
no,
you always believed it was, and then a time where you believed it was incredibly unfair?
I think that children, as a child, were often taught to be fair. Like when you go to school, you need to be fair. You need to share things and so forth. And within our family, with 4 kids, we were taught to try to be uh, fair and share. And but we would also see at the same time that it wasn't the case. I remember seeing my brother treated very differently than I was. Even within the church. I mean, when we went to church,
Mm.
it was the day where girls still had to wear those little veils or doilies on their heads when they went to the Catholic Church, and the boy didn't. So from a young age, knowing that, feeling that, you're told to be fair, and there are laws to help try to correct, rules and laws that try to create that. But you also walk through life and see there's a lot of unfairness. And then as you get just old enough, maybe 10 or 12, I remember telling my students, life is not fair. I mean, it's a good thing to keep trying to work towards that and to
Oh,
have
excellent,
laws
Sue.
and rules that do that. And that is part of that ever more perfect union, which our country espouses. Um, but again, see, we're going back to human nature. It's not fair. It really is not fair. And we strive to correct this animalistic behavior.
So
Is this a debate
in
on
terms of, no, I mean, no, but I there's so much, this, we may just have to go with, this is one on one. This is it. Like, this is all we're going to be able
Perhaps.
to cover today,
Yeah.
because I have so much to say just about that. But Sue, when tragedy happens, I remember one of the saddest, best days was the 9/11. And the reason, it was the most tragic thing, but it was also the most unifying thing I'd ever experienced, where as a collective whole, we would step outside and look at each other with sadness, like, how did this happen to our country? And then you see and hear about all the people that rise up to help. Hurricane Katrina, when we gave, donations, when tragic things happen and schools come together and kids are like, hey, let's donate. People come and save and work on things. That that Sue, that's why I can't let it go that we are animals. And in fact, animals do come together to help each other. The elephants form circles around their young. They put all the young in the middle and they
Mm-hmm.
put their butts together. So I think when push comes to shove, although we could say it both, then we have war, true. But I do believe that a lot of us band together. And so maybe it goes back to me, because now I'm going to segue into my number two.
Well, hold on. Yes, the elephants protect their young. It's about survival. That's a survival instinct, and that's good and
As
wonderful,
you were just saying.
right? That's good and wonderful. And so that there's evidence there. All the calamities that happen. Do
Yeah.
you notice, though, that
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
with so many disasters happening, there seemed to be so much more and so much more intensity to things, and they just happen more and more often. Part of it is because we have access to information more immediately than we did when we were growing up. I mean, it was delayed. There was still live performance, live news and stuff coming in. Our access to information has greatly increased, of course, but that, I mean, we're seeing there's wars going on that we're a part of. There are natural disasters like the big floods in Texas. And, people go, oh, yeah, that's so horrible and so hard. And it is. And some people, might contribute to the Red Cross or whatever. But locally, more people are doing lots of things to help each other out. But it's one after the other, all these things that are just overwhelming. It almost makes people numb to a lot of these tragedies
Mm.
and numb to, there's a war, or there's children starving, or whatever it happens to be. And, that part of your self-preservation is to not let
Yeah.
that overload you.
That's correct.
And
That's
then,
correct.
are there more things happening because we are in an era of negativity and a lack of resources and the global climate change is changing so much. I mean, just today
Rapid,
in the
rapid.
news, they're saying that there's this new uh, vector that is coming. It's coming from South America up, and it's going to affect the wheat production in the United States. That they have a something to resolve it, but it's too big of a problem, and it's global climate change. It's making it happen. These animals are going up north because they can, and so
Hmm.
all these
Right.
things. I mean, just like so, if we all of a sudden don't have, we didn't have eggs, and now then we don't have wheat, and then all these things are happening in mass, along with all the human-made stuff of wars and so forth. How do you deal with it?
Adapt.
Right. And humans are very good at adapting.
Those of us that have made it to this point, yes, that's why we're here, because our ancestors managed to adapt. And you just kind of brought to my attention that that is what life is adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
It's never going to continue being the same thing. It's always going to change. And it's our ability to adapt. And I think both physically, but also mentally to the situations that are going to keep us alive and positive and going. So we can adapt by giving up and walking away, or we can adapt by continuing to keep positive and move forward.
Okay.
And
I like
but I
this.
have to but I like what you said about numb, because I as soon as you said that, I'm like, that totally resonates with me, because I told you at the beginning, like, this whole situation with our government and our leader is too big for me, that I just need to focus on my own survival, because I can't take something I can't change on. That's how I feel. So then in my evolution, in my little world, it's, what can you do, Tina? Well, I could stay positive and create a positive membership tribe. And if I take that positive membership tribe, then at least I'm putting ripples out there in the best way I can, doing the small thing I can. But if I go into that negative place, I will not help anyone. I will drown among the drowning.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a reality.
Again, right now, it gave me hope about all these people dying in Gaza. It makes me so sad. I can hardly stand it. I want to go cry. I want to vomit. It's so sad. And then I saw this picture in the BBC, because I love looking at BBC and I read Norwegian news. And it was all these planes that were dropping food, like from all these different countries. They're dropping food into Gaza. I mean, they're trying. So, what I'm saying is, there are people. And then I read the Norwegian news. There was a boat that was heading into Israeli waters, and they were taken, like the Greta Thunberg one. Oh, I'm sure I just butchered her name. But anyway, there was a Norwegian. That's why it made the Norwegian news. And it was a 70-year-old lady who was trying to come and bring supplies. So there are people, Sue, that are fundamentally good. There are people that do the thing. And I wish that I had the ability or strength or money, but I've got to make my life, I've got to earn money. I've got to make this living before I can go and help other people. You know what I mean? It's the oxygen mask right now for me. But I do respect these people who are giving up their lives to go and get aid over there, because they can't stand looking at people suffering.
Yeah.
So we do have good people.
Of course. And that's part of the whole spectrum of animals. Yeah. Look, I know what I was thinking of when as you're
Tell me.
talking. It's like it's the zombie apocalypse. We come back to this because that metaphor is so good, and you see it.
It is.
It there during the zombie apocalypse, people struggle to survive. They're altruistic. They help each other. They put their lives on the line. But as we see in almost all of these shows and movies, which is not real, but it's the metaphor that
It's a
we're talking
metaphor.
about,
Mm-hmm.
is the worst of humanity comes out, where they are someone grabs the power, does it violently, gets other people to follow them, and together more inhuman behaviors come out, and that is what the good, the just, the better parts of humanity have to fight along with the zombies. It's like it's an impossible task that they have to survive is not only fight the zombie problem, but the worst in humanity, which seems to come out more as people are trying to survive and or fight for survival. And that's it's
Okay, I
animals.
have a
Yeah.
little positivity thing because we could go there. You know those balls where you have two swinging balls and you pick one up and you drop it and then it pushes the other
Yep.
one in the exact opposite direction, right?
Yep.
So think about it this way. For all of that hate to come building over here, isn't it Newton's third law? Like the equal to opposite reaction. What's that saying? So the point I'm making is for all the hate that's coming out there, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And so as more hate comes out there, we're also going to see more extreme love, which was the fleet of airplanes dropping parachutes with food. Because the more people are starving and being killed for their food, the more other people are going to rise up and say, absolutely, this is not okay, and we're gonna come in from land, ground, sea, whatever it takes.
Right. And I agree. That is the instinct to survive and course correct. So let's go with that. And you know what? We're going to have to continue. We only got to one life lesson
Well,
in our
so I think
discussion.
I know what next week's topic will be.
Oh,
Life lesson 2.
life lesson 2. Or maybe we'll have to do a bonus episode.
Maybe we should.
Okay. Because it's a bonus knowing our lessons in life.
It's true, because we're damn wise.
Thanks for listening. Now let's pack up this week's episode in the trunk.
Ride shotgun and be a part of our adventure by clicking on the plus sign to subscribe and follow our show. This will help our ratings and, more importantly, inspire us to keep creating fun and engaging content. We would love to hear from you in the comment sections or email us at retiredpodcastnewtred@gmail.com. Use the fast track lane by sharing episodes with friends, family, and anyone who would like to join us on a road trip through retirement.
Be sure to check the show notes for links and contact information. Retired is chauffeured by Sue Britz and Tina Lokkbakk. It is produced, directed, and edited by me, Sue Britz. Music and graphics are by me too. Buckle up and tune in next week so that you won't miss your chance to join our retired road trip.